Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to pariomagazine.com.au. And then on to the second topic of the show, a couple of Netflix docos. We checked out The Most Hated Man on the Internet and Trainwreck, Woodstock 99. Which one do you feel like starting off with?
I'm itching to talk about Woodstock. Trainwreck.
Okay. Let's start on that
I've
one
worn
then.
my Woodstock 99 t-shirt for today's episode too in celebration.
You actually got a shirt.
Yeah, first things, I was like, remember last year we spoke about the HBO one, which was titled, was it on Binge?
Yeah, I think it was
Woodstock
just
99, Peace, Love and Rage.
Yep, that was it.
And I remember I've got some notes here from it, how I just thought, what I spoke about last time was this one just glorified. I know everyone remembers Woodstock 99 as the disaster that it was, but yeah, this one was the original, the one we did last year, Peace, Love and Rage, was very opinionated in the tragedy, and it went very against the festival, I thought, and I just really didn't enjoy. I just didn't enjoy the tone of it, so to speak. Yep. It just ratted out the whole festival and didn't celebrate what it was, like the music and whatnot. But this one was very good, I thought. This new Netflix one, Trainwreck. I'm not even surprised by Netflix. This was extremely good. This one, they had footage. I don't know where they got or how they got their hands on it. They somehow managed to get Michael Lang, the founder of the original Woodstock and obviously Woodstock 99, to interview.
Yeah, I thought just before he passed away.
But just quickly skipping over it now to the end. When they were interviewing him, I was like, did he get sued for this? Like, what legal fallout was? And that's one thing they didn't touch on, did they? At the end,
no, they basically just spoke about the events and factors that sort of led up to the festival and why it ended up being a train wreck, essentially.
Yeah, so it was a 3-part, hour each. Mini series. They probably could have gone a 4th to explain the legal fallout afterwards, which I don't know if there was any. You would have to assume there would have been, but it didn't get mentioned in this unless it's still ongoing.
Yeah, I guess when they talked.
But then why would Michael Lang agree to interview if it's? But then they managed to track down a lot of people.
That were at the festival, which was pretty cool.
Well, festival goers, how good was Keith? That mullet wearing trailer trash bloke that attended the festival. He was great, I reckon. So they managed to track down people who attended the festival, MTV reporters that were there working on the festival. There was security, Peace Patrol, they called them. Interviewed those.
The best security.
They managed to track down a lot. Yeah. It was very well put together. And like I said, some of the footage they got is incredible. That's what the other documentary lacked. And this one was pretty much the whole first episode. It told you the origins of them organizing it. So this one felt like it more definitely came and it was on the side of the festival, whereas not just beating it down and ratting it out.
Yeah, I really liked this one. I thought it was like the perfect length with those 3 episodes where it got to give you the background of what led to them bringing Woodstock back for Woodstock 99. Then it spoke about the events that happened. And then the 3rd episode was kind of looking at how the planning failures led to what happened at the festival, which I thought was really cool.
There was a lot of explaining of certain aspects that the Binge one just didn't have. And that just gave people a mindset like, oh, this is just the most horrible disaster ever. But then, this Trainwreck one on Netflix was explained everything very well.
Yeah, I like how they sort of explained that, the things that led to this being a train wreck of a festival were the location that they chose was bad in terms of being an old Army Air Force base that was, there was lots of space. There was a big hangar to do a rave cave type thing in. But outside that, there was just tarmac and concrete everywhere. it was upstate New York, so it was hot in summer, and then there was no shade because it was an Air Force base. So it's like, yep, that was always going to turn out bad.
You know, like a massive piece of irony that it's just, I don't know, it's deafening. Like Woodstock was like this festival of like peace and love during a time where everyone was against the war, and they put this festival on just to bring everyone together. And then Michael Lang, who organized that festival in 1969, organizes this one because he wanted to revive that. And what this happened, what, weeks or months after the Columbine shooting? So he's like, let's try get some peace and get some order back into this. And
yeah, and like raise awareness for gun violence.
And he puts it at an Air Force base.
Yeah, a bit weird.
Like, and that was one of the first things people were like, hang on, this is meant to be like flowing, rolling hills and like...
Yeah, people rock up and there's just concrete everywhere. They're like, what?
It's just a military base, like tarmac surrounded by fences. Like, I don't know. But and like, what were they thinking? Like, just...
I think they just wanted a big, easy, convenient space that had amenities already, but
when did they try to do one? 94, 95? And that
94. And it failed because
heaps of money on it. So, and this was...
It failed because people knocked the fence down and just walked in. So that's why they kind of went with an Air Force base so that it was a bit more secure. But I think the intentions behind the festival as well were kind of
make money.
In the wrong place.
They want to make money back.
Yeah, they were trying to make as much profit as possible. So they
said that when they found the venue.
They contracted out outside vendors for food and drink, who then ended up charging... what started as $4 for a bottle of water went up to $12.
$12.
When you compare the average retail price at the time of a bottle of water was 65 cents.
Yep.
So insane markups. They ran out of food and water, a bunch of them, so that they ended up just jacking the prices up on everything. There were water fountains available, but then they ended up getting tainted with the runoff from the portaloos, which weren't being cleaned or maintained. There were no garbage bins, and the garbage bins that were there were just overflowing and never emptied.
Didn't it look horrendous when all the rubbish is just flowing everywhere, like you're blowing in the wind? It looked like a rubbish tip.
And then that lady was walking around trying to hand out garbage bags, asking people to clean up, and they're like, I paid $150 to be here. I'm not picking up rubbish.
Yeah, I think another thing too, like like who the artists they booked, like look, they had the Korn, like Megadeth, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
And
then they had weird random ones too, like Jewel.
They had Jewel and like Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson, James Brown.
Yeah, it's just like, what? It was such a weird lineup all on the same stage.
But I think another, like, that was just full of angst, that sort of era of rock in the late 90s, like your Limp Bizkits and Rage Against the Machine. And look, it looked like there was 80% males at that festival too, and just full of rage. But I think it was just an angsty time in the 90s, and I don't think they can really blame individuals. Because they deflected the blame on the whole thing off themselves.
That was my big issue with the documentary was kind of like trying to present it as, no, you can't blame the kids for this. But yeah, the organizers were purely just like, no, we did everything right. It was all the people that came to this festival. Like, I don't know. It was pretty poorly run. The security was useless. It was just a bunch of dudes that they booked, gave them $500 to just be there and wear a yellow shirt that then couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that even just looking at the footage, the way like, you know, when you go to a festival now, there's like the D-shape crowd barriers and stuff to like prevent there being that big crush. This was like way before that, where it was just 100,000 people in one big space. Like, that would have been horrible at the front of that mosh pit.
I can't even imagine what the camping facilities were like there. Like, everyone was just in filth the whole time. And like there was no one going through and cleaning and maintaining anything. But yeah, back on like them not claiming responsibility and them blaming the attendees, like they booked acts that if they knew who that, like the music, or they knew the scene, they knew there was going to be angst and like violence and rage.
Yeah.
And like they don't cater for that. Like, you're not going to have a hardcore festival today and not have, maybe put some extra security on, or you go to like a hip hop gig at like Enmore, and it'd be like an American artist or something, and you know their music and their fan base is a little bit more rogue. There's always going to be a few extra cops out the front of that gig compared to like a Courtney Barnett gig.
Yeah, or like a City and Colour gig.
You just got to know. Yeah,
a Limp Bizkit gig. There's going to be more cops.
Yeah. Then and then they're trying to say, "Oh, no, these kids." I'm like, well,
I also didn't like that
you encourage them.
I also didn't like that they like kind of tried to blame Limp Bizkit as well. Like, bro, you booked them. You booked Limp Bizkit. One of their biggest songs at the time was Break Stuff.
Yeah.
What'd you expect? Of course, the crowd was going to get massively amped up. Like, I listen to that song now and I get amped up.
They had Limp Bizkit's former manager on there, and they're like, "How can you blame them? Like, they've come to do a job. And they're not going to half-ass it."
They played a concert that they would play any other time. It just so happened to be
you booked them.
This time it was 150,000 people.
Their show. So, and you're saying you don't want them to perform their show all of a sudden? Like, yeah. But on that note, though, Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, when all those he covered Jimi Hendrix Fire as the encore after he just left the stage because of all the fires that have just started in the crowd. I thought that was definitely intentional. That was peak Anthony Kiedis junkie stage too. So there's definitely smart assery about that one.
I love how they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Fleas just rocking out fully nude on stage.
Yeah, Flea. Yeah, that's iconic. I've seen that set and the Limp Bizkit set so many times on YouTube.
So funny. Just rocking out.
Definitely go to.
Fully nude, like whatever.
How good is he?
And then like them handing out candles at the very end. Like, even though all the organizers
never knew this
like,
happened.
We don't have approval by the fire marshal for candles. Like,
there's
no,
so
don't
much
do that.
Wrong with that.
We've just amped up the crowd to beyond belief, and now we're going to give them fire. That's a great idea. No wonder the place burnt down.
Bro, I was just seeing how, logistically, for starters, no matter what it is, let alone candles, how are you going to hand out 100,000 of anything?
Yeah.
Let alone like lit candles, just like little sticks of wax. Like they're going
to... When people are just like ramming up against each other. Like,
yeah. But it somehow worked, like to an extent.
Yeah, they somehow got all the way to the back.
And the inevitable happened.
Yeah. Like you could, if you hand out candles at a festival today, that's going to happen. Someone's going to be like, let's throw this in a bin.
Yeah.
Fools.
Yeah, it was bold, and his mode. There was this typical Michael Lang in the end, like, hey, I want to make something of this. I want to make the news for being this like protest
big,
or
peaceful hippie festival. Let's hand out candles
to show that the youth do care and do want to take a stand against gun violence. But it couldn't have backfired anymore.
No, it could not have been worse.
It just asserted the narrative.
One other random little thing that I noticed in the show too, in the like opening sequence where there's all these people yelling at the crowd, like yelling at the camera, like being, yeah, I'm at Woodstock 99. I'm so excited. One of those people was The Miz from WWE.
Really?
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, wait, was that The Miz? And then, the next, like a couple of days later on Instagram, he was like, yeah, that was me. Like, good.
This is taken off this is number 1 on Netflix, I think, this little documentary.
Yeah. It's been massive.
It's very, like I said, it's very well made. I don't know who, is it the same sort of like writing group or that do all these documentaries? They put them together so well. Like they can make like a story, like a suspenseful. I think Netflix just like out of anything.
I think Netflix just like farm them out to anybody that pitches them a good documentary. And I think by the looks of it, this documentary crew obviously had some form of connection to MTV. So I think that's where they probably got all that footage from.
Yeah.
Since they were like there covering the festival live.
There was a lot of good footage.
Yeah.
I would love to cross paths with someone who's attended that festival. or even Woodstock 69. Imagine chatting to someone who went there.
I would love to see like a round table of like, let's get artists from the two artists and even a couple of like punters, a round table talking about their experiences at either festival would be really cool.
Yeah, both. Or like have like a few that went to 69 and a few that went to 99. And just open discussion. That'd be sick.
But yeah, like we're definitely never getting another Woodstock, so enjoy this while you can.
Well, not now. Well, what they say after the show that Michael Lang died 3 months after those interviews. Hectic.
Yeah.
I was trying to think how old he would be now, because I think he was only early 20s when they did 69. Would have been getting on. He was just a little smug operator, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. The whole organizing crew kind of were. So,
but then they interviewed a few people that were on
like the people that they hired on the staff.
They were fully against it. They were against it on the other end of the spectrum.
The people that they had the three at the top, the promoters, they were just like, we did nothing wrong. Everything we did was fine. But then all the people they hired were like, no, it was a bad idea. We told them that was a bad idea.
Who was that?
And they still just kept going.
The other guy they interviewed, he was the one that was sort of fronting up to the press conferences. He's the one that sort of went on stage and told everyone what's going on.
Yeah, the guy that bankrolled it all, basically.
How's his comments about the sexual assaults and the rapes? He had no idea it was happening and blame. You know what he said? He said Woodstock was essentially a mini city with 250,000 people, and he said to get half a dozen sexual assaults in a small city is pretty normal. And he's scale that up into the real world. If you got half a dozen sexual assaults in a small town, he said that's pretty normal. Are you kidding? He essentially just said that it's normal and it's expected.
Yeah, massive sleaze. He was just all I'm in for is I just want to make money however I make money. So I know.
I was like, bruh, how did you just say that? You are getting cancelled.
Yep. Yeah. Great. Whoa. Great doco. 3 episodes. Definitely worth checking out.
Whoa. Yeah, it's a belter. Especially if you've got a sour taste in your mouth from the binge Peace, Love and Rage edition that came out last year.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that there was difference to them. They weren't just the same, but yeah.
Completely.
I'm glad I watched this one instead of the other one. So
yeah, I was just going to say as well, when it popped up, I was like, oh, have Netflix grabbed this now? I thought it was the same one, but glad it was.
That's what I thought. When you said, let's watch this, I was like, didn't we do this already? But yeah.
Hey, I'll never stop watching Woodstock 99 docos. What an event. Imagine if that happened today. What's the craziest thing that happens at a festival today that's going to make the news?
Drugs.
Yeah. That'd be something very, very petty. Yeah, something very petty and drug related.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be making the news.
In terms of, we were talking about the sexual assaults that happened at Woodstock 99, the second doco we watched, The Most Hated Man on the Internet, another 3-episode series, this time focusing on...
Another very popular one. There's probably 1 and 2 on Netflix today, I think.
Yep. This one focuses on Hunter Moore and his revenge porn website, Is Anyone Up? What did you think of this one?
Nostalgia. I used to go on Is Anyone Up every night when I was when I was 16, 17. I would have been 16, 17. So it was around the same the time. This was 2011, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh no way. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, then I started watching. I was like, no, Is Anyone Up? That's iconic.
I had no idea
you would
about
have
this
been all
website
over it for sure. No, really? Yeah, it was huge. So, and I sort of did back then have a rough idea of the Hunter Moore and his happenings, but I guess at that time it wasn't as alarming as it would have been now. His goings on.
Oh yeah,
another one that.
Imagine if this website was up now. Jesus.
Oh,
even back then, that's bad. It was bad.
For starters, his Twitter wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. Twitter would have shut him down quick smart. So they didn't do 100%. That back then.
But yeah, like this one focuses on that website and how it basically featured a whole bunch of naked photos of people that were supposedly submitted either by themselves or anonymously by basically jilted exes. But then as Charlotte Laws came to find out, there was a lot of hacking going on to source a lot of these images, and then Hunter would put them up and refuse to take them down no matter what anyone said, and very dodgy.
So basically, Charlotte Laws was the mother of one of the many girls that had her photos
uploaded. Yep.
What's the word? What's the word? Without consent, I guess. But basically just typical internet sleuth, really.
Yeah.
Who did an extremely good job. Pretty much did the FBI's job, and the FBI even complimented her on it, like, well, half our research and work's done here for you.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I just thought it was a bit strange that her husband or partner was this very proper old world attorney.
Yeah, and a lawyer she's like that just didn't want to do anything for ages.
Yeah. She's like this 100-mile-an-hour, like just American. I don't know. It was a weird matchup, them two. But then once he finally did do something about it, he just got results straight away.
Because a lawyer calling another lawyer is a whole lot different to a mother calling a lawyer being like, "Hey, can you take my daughter's photos down?"
You're a bit rogue when like Hunter Moore's lawyer's like, "Bruh, I'm done.
Bruh. I can't help you here.
I cannot help you anymore. You are cooked."
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he just a piece of shit though?
Oh, yeah, just a horrible human being from the sounds of things.
Just your like a daughter's worst nightmare, really.
Mm-hmm. And kept amping it up until eventually the FBI caught up.
But he was big, I guess, when he was at his peak, like 2010, 2012. Like, I guess everyone for some reason loved him. There wasn't awareness like there is now on that sort of stuff. Misogyny, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, well, I guess like watching this documentary, it just like goes to show that back in the early 2000s, the internet really was just like the Wild West where anyone and everyone could make some money and do some real dodgy crap. But in the end, not so much. And like,
who are a couple of characters that stood out?
The dude that had his photos up was pretty interesting. Like,
that's a weird thing. All the dudes.
What was it? What was she called?
The whole girl.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's so weird.
What a weirdo.
Why did they have to they really glorified the whole butthole girl thing, didn't they? And she sort of wore it with pride.
Yeah, so weird. So weird. And like the way that she got enveloped as butthole girl was because that was the only way for her to get Hunter to take down the screenshot of her Facebook page, which had a photo of her kids. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But that was after she submitted the photos herself, knowing that they were going to put a screenshot of her Facebook up, but didn't change the photos. Like, you idiot.
Yeah, completely under Hunter's thumb.
Mm-hmm. And like, I get that revenge porn is still a big issue, but nowhere near like it was back then where...
Nah.
Like now, there's ways to
nowadays people are hacking into people's iClouds.
Down. Yeah,
that's how like a lot of celebrity like nudes and stuff have been leaked. Like people hack into their iCloud. That's why even before that stuff happened, I never trust iCloud. I will never use iCloud. Imagine having all your personal stuff just there at the taking at the mercy.
Yeah, but like I get now that internet servers and domains are a little bit better at keeping a tab on IP addresses, and if someone does upload that sort of crap, they're going to get caught. Like basically the only way for someone to find out up until like the FBI got involved back then was Hunter. He knew where the photos came from, and that was it. If he didn't tell anyone, no one was finding out.
Yeah. But I think he's just delusional. He sort of
he thought he could get away with anything. He knew he was doing something wrong, but he thought he could get away with it.
He knew he was doing something wrong, but at the same time, he just thought it was completely okay. But at the same time, he did know he was doing stuff wrong. Then what did they give him? Like 30 months in jail or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. It's a pretty long time to spend in jail, but probably not long enough for what he did.
It'd be a rough 30 months for him too.
Oh, very much. But yeah, like I thought this was another one that was like the perfect length. If we'd gone more than 3 episodes, I think we'd have been stretching.
Yeah. I was interested, and I had a connection with this website just as a punter, just as like and like I was interested in it because I was familiar with it. I did get a bit boring, and it did drag on a bit though. I will. Mm-hmm. So if you are completely unfamiliar with it, you could get over it. I know it took me a couple of days to pick up like episode 2. Then again, I didn't smash it out like I did Woodstock.
I was the same.
Woodstock,
I pretty much watched in
my podcast and my stuff for the day.
I think Woodstock I watched in one sitting, whereas this one I watched over a couple of days. So.
But I say it time and time again. It's just the typical the Netflix documentary. They've plucked something out of thin air and they've dragged it out for 3 hours over like a mini series, which is like good. I'll watch them until the cows come home. Keep them coming. But yeah, they've done well to make something out of it. That's for sure.
After watching the doco,
I'm not sure.
After watching the doco, I did see a Hunter put out a statement basically.
Oh, true.
Saying, I quote, "A lot of people have been asking why I didn't tell my side of the story on the Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Well, at first, we had all agreed about the terms and all, but at the end, they wouldn't let me tell my side of the story. Basically, I had to say what they wanted me to say, so I backed off. There are always 2 sides to the story. 60% of that Netflix documentary was BS. They never wanted you to tell or hear the truth." So, yeah, it still kind of sounds like he just takes, again, the person at the center of the documentary taking no responsibility still.
It just, that just confirms his character. Like, he's always wants the final say. Like, bro, accept defeat. Just admit it.
I'd be interested to see like what he's up to these days. Like I can't imagine he's doing anything amazing.
That's what I mean. That's what I just mentioned. Like, what's the timing of this for? Did he just get out? Is the 30 months up or something? Like his prison term? It would have ended ages ago. When was the trial and all that? Like 2017. So maybe what's that? Like 2 years? You'd probably think 2020 he would have got out.
Yeah, he probably got out just before the lockdowns, but I don't know. It was interesting, but yeah.
It would have been good to have him on, but I think we all know what his take.
What he would have said, yeah.
Yeah, I think we already got enough out of that.
Yep. Yeah. In terms of top recommendations for this week, which of these 3 shows would be your top pick?
Woodstock 99, Trainwreck. It was very good. Very well made. Good footage. A neutral non-fan of Woodstock 99 would enjoy it. Those who love Woodstock 99 love it. Very good. Very well made.
Made me want to listen to more Limp Bizkit, so it worked.
Funnily enough, I listened to Limp Bizkit on the way to work last night.
Nice.
For that very reason.
I kind of wish I'd gone to see them in Vegas when I went, but seeing the footage, I was like, nope, that was a hectic concert.
Yeah, I actually Googled a photo of Fred Durst last night because I was curious how he looked. And he looks exactly how you would think Fred Durst looks in 2022.
Yep.
Very, it looks a lot like Dallas Green, actually.
Yeah.
A fine wine.
For me, my recommendation is Peaky Blinders. Like I said, we've got all 6 seasons now. You don't have to wait big, long gaps in between seasons and watch it. Get prepared for the movie because
I don't need to be the one to recommend Peaky Blinders. If you haven't watched it already, you should have. It's no secret.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. And you can follow me on social media at Jamie Apps Media and at Pario Magazine. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the community support group level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Blake Robinson, Rena Renee, Courtney Paulson, Darren Hatcliffe, Jackson Carr, and Tracy Apps.